Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we're going to be looking at your goals and objectives. As we've discussed before, it could be, are you going to look at building your brand? Are you going to sell your products and services? Are you going to drive traffic to your website? Are you going to have a combination of all of these? As I said, these are just some of the things. So let's have a look at what you need to consider with your goals and objectives. Now, we could be looking at increasing our brand awareness, and as we know that businesses can use Pinterest to engage with their customers, and it just gives that human touch to their brand. Companies can tell their story. You can tell your story about how and why you created your company, and let your clients and customers know what values you have, what personality you have, and what you have that's special and unique to offer to those clients and customers. And as I said, all of this is really before you start thinking about what it is that you really want to achieve. Obviously it can develop and it can change, but really having something to start with, having that strategy and plan, will make it a lot easier to be able to almost like theme your boards and theme some of the images that you're going to pin. Now, it may be that you want to create a community, and you could do this by running discussions on Pinterest, and that can build a community. And you can do that by, commenting and asking engaging questions that are going to encourage a response, so that on your pins, people will be commenting, and then people will be commenting on those commenting on comments. And it really is about you deciding if that's something that you want to actually have as a goal or objective. Then you have to start that process going. You have to start by adding those comments to your pins and inviting people to respond to them. It's all about you setting up the information first, setting up the process first, setting up your community, your world on Pinterest. It's your rules. You can decide what you want and how you want it to go. As we've said and discussed in earlier ones, it's knowing your audience, so that you must consider what your ideal customer wants, and then strategically pin content that is based on those customers' desires. We don't want to be saying, oh, look over here, no, look over there. We don't want to confuse them. We want to give them a good, solid, consistent message that will show you as the leader in your niche and industry, and you are directing them to various different offerings. But it's not a question of saying, well, you could have this or you could have that, or choosing all of these different things. It's really having a bit of a strategic path that you want them to follow. Yes, of course, people will come in at different buying times in the circle, in your buying circle. It may be that they're just looking at the moment. It may be that they're ready to buy right now, or it may be that they're just, as I said, gathering information. But if we have a strategic plan of what we're going to do, by saying that this is the offerings that we have, and this is the order that really we're producing them, and we're actually giving them to our audience. And the other thing is then adding value to the pins, adding value to the content, because you want to be known as the position yourself as the subject matter expert. And so adding a description to that pin, the big why. Why is this important? Why is this image that you're pinning part of an ongoing story? It's probably not a random thing. It's part of something that you're actually guiding your Pinterest followers to. As I said, yes, you can have random things, and that's fine if that's part of your strategy, to just randomly have some content that is out of context. But that is something that in your strategy that you would be thinking about doing. So what we're doing is we're continually adding value to the pins, and that we're doing that by having good comments on it. We're having the text overlay onto it, and we're continuing the discussion. If somebody else has started a discussion, we're continuing that discussion. But it all boils down to adding value and expanding the topic to related information, seeing the bigger picture. You know, it can be very limiting. A lot of people think it's just very limited, and they think they're going to run out of ideas of things that they can actually, post pictures on, and what are they going to do. But if you think about the expanded, related industries around yours, if you're a strawberry farmer, then you could have pins about cream. Putting those two things together. If you're an insurance company, about, as I said, the different types of insurance that they could be. Putting different things together, related things around your topic or niche that will expand, your board. So it also gives your customers and your clients that expansion. You're thinking, they're not maybe not thinking about something else. If you were in a wedding industry, you could have the flowers, the venue, you could have the cars, you could have all sorts of things. Now they may not be related to you, but you're giving added content and value. And there are ways that, as I said, you can really promote other people's products or services, and have a commission for as what's called an affiliate. But it's all about adding value for your clients and customers. So think about what other related services would be around your topic or niche, and see how you can incorporate that into your strategy. Another part of your strategy is, how often do you pin? Are you going to pin at regular times on regular days? Are you going to have like a regular spot where you say it's a tip of the day Friday? All of these things are part of your Pinterest strategy. And what we're trying to do is we're educating our customers and our clients to be looking out for. They will be looking out for pins on a particular days. They will be looking out for your content and your information, and we're guiding them back to your boards, and then obviously back to your website. But it's all about being consistent, being regular, so that they know that this is actually some great information that they will be looking for. So again, just thinking about that goals and objectives that you want. Is it building your brand, selling your product or service, driving traffic? They may be the core concepts, but you need to think a little bit deeper and a little bit wider as to how you're actually going to achieve that. And it can be really a fantastic process for your business anyway, just thinking about this. And of course, you need to measure your success. If you're doing something and it's not getting the results that you want, then why are you doing it? You need to be measuring everything that you're doing, so that if it's really working exceptionally well, you spend more time doing that. So again, thinking ahead of all the things that you want to achieve, and then starting and making a plan, and then start with one thing or two things, and then see how those work out, and then you can measure and tweak and repeat. So there we are. I hope that's given you some really good ideas for how you could set about determining what your goals and objectives are going to be, and your strategy that you're going to use for Pinterest. So look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.